comes from inside, which is why when it comes to stress in your life, we can look all around and buy all the things that we think will take care of our stress. It's a temporary band-aid. But when you start looking inside of you through meditation, for some people it may be prayer, for some people it may be following their passion, doing the things they truly, truly love. That's meditation in its own way, through service to others. That's when you start realizing you have the strength to make a decision of what to let go of and what to accept. And that's how you balance your stress levels. Let me tell you right now, between January 1st and the 1st of October, 92% of the breast cancer cases that we diagnosed in Mumbai, I'm only talking about Mumbai, the root cause was emotional stress. Let me tell you how we arrived at this. I have one question to every patient who comes to me with a disease or cancer. What was going on in your life 6 months to a year before you got diagnosed? We go into that level of detail. And every one of these women had some stressful, tragic event that they could talk about. Exactly 6 months to a year before they got diagnosed. I'm not talking about husband and wife fight and emotional stress, which is normal and common all the time. I'm talking about a tragic event like a divorce, or something like the death of a child, or death of a very close family member, or a property issue, or a money issue, or an affair, or something like that. I'm talking about some serious emotional issue which they've kept inside of them. What happens when you keep your emotions inside of you and push it lower and lower? Your immunity drops. It's as simple as that. Every time you're stressed, why do you fall sick? Because when you're stressed, your immunity, your first and last line of defense in the human body that can protect you, heal you, and prevent you from getting diseases, gets compromised. When you're stressed, do you feel energetic? Do you feel joyous? Do you feel happy? No. The entire body changes. What you think manifests in your body. Let me give you an example right now. Be happy. I'm telling you to be happy. Well, look at your faces. None of you look happy right now because you cannot be happy unless you have a happy thought. Unless you have a happy thought, you cannot be happy. Be sad. Now people are smiling. You cannot be sad unless you have a sad thought. That is the power of your thought. So if you have a negative thought, that's exactly how you are going to feel in your body. If you think you're sick and you're going to die, that's exactly what is going to happen to you. Which is why when oncologists across the world tell patients that you have 3 months left to live, the patient dies in 3 months. Period. When people tell us that you need to be on this medication for a lifetime, our mind believes it, and then we never try to change our lifestyle and heal mindsets which are fixed. The only way to break out of all of this is introspection. This evening could either be meaningful for us, or it could be a complete waste of time for you and for me if we don't go back and introspect one lifestyle change that every one of us can start making. And everyone, even the fittest people, have lifestyle changes that they have to make emotionally or in their minds, and vice versa. Stress causes diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, cancer, and everything. Stress causes inflammation, the root cause of diabetes, cardiovascular, cancer, poor hair quality, poor skin quality, and the inability to lose weight. When you're stressed, you're acidic. If you eat that ice cream, I promised you, Ankit, is it happening, the ice cream? I just made the promise on my own. If you eat that ice cream under stress, guess what's going to happen? It is going to make you so acidic. Because when you're in the fight and flight response, that's your parasympathetic nervous system, it is the fight and flight response. The sympathetic nervous system is the rest and digest. When you eat in the sympathetic nervous system, in the rest and digest, your food will beautifully digest. Look at the French. What is the diet of French people? You know it. Look at the way they eat their meals. They put everything away. They don't do working lunches. They don't talk work. Eating their meals is a point of pleasure. They are in rest and digest, which is why all of the butter, all of the croissants, all of their food can be beautifully digested, and they don't overeat as well. But if we're eating in this fight and flight response, your rest and digest is shut off. You could be eating a bowl of organic quinoa salad under stress. Do you think your body is going to break it down and absorb all of the nutrients? No, because you're not in the rest and digest phase. You're in the fight and flight response. Which is why you sit down to a meal, you calm down. In the olden days, we probably said a prayer before our food. We thanked the universe for the food or our gods for the food that we gave us. We were calm and we ate, we digested, we finished, we laughed, we spoke to each other. It was an event. Tradition is beautiful when it's used the right way. But today, we're talking on the phone, or we're watching TV, or we're shouting at someone and eating, or we call for a working lunch. The worst thing to do in an office is have a working lunch. Number one, your managers or your employees will be least productive at that point. Least productive. Because they have no brain energy going to their head. The food is not getting digested. Finish your lunch and then get back to your meetings. Simple lifestyle changes that everyone can make. If you don't have time, I'm not here to tell you to go to a gym. I'm here to tell you walk. Start getting steps. Take your phone calls walking instead of sitting. Start conducting some of your meals walking. Go and get your own glass of water. In India, we have a bigger problem. I call it the ISS, the Indian Servant Syndrome, where the servant will open the door every time the doorbell rings, will get you your remote to put the TV on, will get you your cell phone if it rings in another room, will get you a notepad and a pen if you need to make a note, and you're just sitting. The servants get healthier, and we get sicker. And those same servants, we hang on to them to look after us in our old age. That's the irony of life. That's the irony of life. All we need to do is get a little bit active, move a little more. There's nothing derogatory in doing your own work. And that's how we start getting more and more active. So the whole idea is, how can you make lifestyle changes? Simple lifestyle changes. We all know by now that diets do not work anymore. Fad exercise programs have failed and made us sicker. We need to start making lifestyle changes from scratch. One little thing at a time. Let it become a habit. And then the second, and then the third. And automatically, you start introducing this one very powerful drug that can help you to heal, prevent, and feel happier, feel good. Can you feel good when you're sick? Anyone? Can you feel good when you have pain in your body? No. Can your money in the bank make you feel good when you can't use it the way you want to enjoy it? Absolutely not. So today is the day that you start to decide, what is that one change I can make a little by little? And there'll be days where we don't make any changes at all. That's fine, that's life. But get back on track. Get back on track. Balanced exercise, balanced nutrition, adequate exercise, quality sleep, and emotional stress. You put these things together, and you have a platform of health. It's open for question and answers, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, it's wonderful what you've said, but some of these things can be very difficult to apply in practice in life. For an executive who's traveling, who's on a jet all the time, and he has to attend a board meeting at 7, he cannot always have that 8 hours of sleep or 6 or whatever. Can you actually break it down and during the day take a nap, or as the Japanese do, cat naps? Is that equivalent to taking 8 hours, or maybe taking 4 hours in the day and 4 in the night?
Yeah, absolutely. It does help, but as long as we don't make it a habit and think that, cut down on night sleep because I can have a cat nap later. So on the days where you're on a long flight and all of these things happen, definitely you can use sleep later in the day to make you feel better. But the whole idea is, even executives, even CEOs, everyone, there is a way where you can add health. Many things may not be possible. That's why I don't talk about gym workouts, because if you're traveling, you may not have an access to a gym all the time. But I've done my calculation on almost every airport in the world. Before an international flight, if you're walking before your flight for even an hour instead of sitting in the lounge, you can get anywhere between 7,000 to 8,000 steps. And the beauty of that is you've built your metabolic rate. Now go on the flight, sleep, watch a movie, have a drink, eat your food. But you've earned it. There's compensation all the time. Because at the airport, besides being on your phone or your laptop, you can walk, you can take your calls. So I'm talking about these lifestyle changes which can be made everywhere. So yes, you can look at sleep later, so long as it doesn't become an everyday thing. Once you're back to your hometown, you sleep the right way, basically.
Hi.
Hi.
I have two questions. One is the information. Like in the US, now the trend is DNA sequencing.
I'm sorry, say it.
In the USA, or there is a number of books that the DNA sequencing of the human body can be conducted in less than $1,000. So is it available in Dubai and India? Because today the human bodies are different, but medicine is same. So now people think that we need to have different medicine for different body, and that is possible if we sequence our DNA. So is it is it useful information? One should go for it or not? Secondly, you said a lot about the micronutrients, meaning D3, K2, and other. But inflammation is is the cause behind most of the disease. And in my limited knowledge, the water-soluble vitamins, water-soluble, like you can say the orange or vitamin C, is more useful than the most of the food which we are talking about, because it can be lab manufactured or it can be from organic sources. So you did not mention about the vitamin C, which is water soluble, you take it and the body is good. So what do you think about it? Or do you still feel that the micronutrients are so important? Or because most of these studies now say that because of the marketing gimmicks, these vitamins are not so very important. Fiber is more important. Okay. What do you think about it?
So to answer your first question about frequencies, we need to understand that the only human frequency is our frequency with nature. Our frequency with nature gets changed when we start moving further and further away from the natural rhythms of life. So when we sleep at a time which is not meant for sleeping, when we eat at a time where it's not time for eating, we automatically create a disconnection and our frequencies change. So again, we would use frequencies in medication only for very genetic cases. But other than that, we all have a simple frequency which needs to be aligned between our body and nature around us. And that automatically standardizes frequency. Everything is a sale. To come to vitamin C, we did mention that vitamin C is one of the vitamins that get depleted in chemotherapy. It's one of the most important vitamins for immunity, which is why people who smoke, why do they have to be careful about diseases? Because smoking wipes out vitamin C. If you have low vitamin C, you'll have low immunity. If you have low immunity, you can have almost every possible disease. We don't have to get into micronutrients. We don't have to get into fibronutrients. If you eat an apple, you get the nutrients that your body requires. If you eat your vegetables, your nuts, and your seeds, you will get the nutrition, vitamins, macro, micro, fibro, whatever it is in your body. The idea is keeping it simple, because the whole idea is there's a pharmaceutical market and there is also a nutraceutical market, which is equally bad if it's used the wrong way. People are pushing synthetic vitamins into people's body and it's doing more damage than any harm. So we got to be careful of both, the pharmaceuticals and nutraceuticals. We got to use it judiciously with the right supervision and for the right, problems that we have in our body. So try to get most of your vitamins from natural, wholesome foods. And if we don't have access to that, then we look at good quality supplements and formulations.
Hi, Luke. Hi. Wonderful presentation. My compliments. Some very good things said. A lot of common sense. I wish it was as easy to apply as you have made it sound. But I'm sure that with some effort, some genuine desire, certain things can be applied. I have two very common questions which may be applicable to me and a lot of other friends here. Simple yet complex. Vegetarian, non-vegetarian. There is a consistent dialogue that one is better than the other. And I know that they say, yeah, even in vegetarian food, there are nutrients, there are iron, there is proteins, etc., etc. Now, for somebody like me who has made a lifestyle change, I mean, in my younger days, I was a meat eater. Now I'm not. So does that, A, harm you in life? And B, sometimes, people, doctors advocate that, multivitamins, supplements on a regular basis can also do with the deficiencies that happen as you grow older in life. So what's your view on that? Thank you.
So see, vegetarian or non-vegetarian is a personal choice. India has had a high population of vegetarians for years, but it doesn't mean we've not had our share of sickness. It's wrong to say that vegetarian or non-vegetarian alone is better when it comes to health, because it's honestly your lifestyle. I know sick non-vegetarians and very healthy non-vegetarians, and I know sick vegetarians and very healthy vegetarians as well. It's true that the quality of meat has changed all over the world. Animals are pumped with hormones and injections and antibiotics, and when you eat that meat, it's coming into your system. At the same time, you have plants which are sprayed with pesticides and injected with, hybrid and GMO and all of that stuff. My only advice when I get asked this question is build a strong immunity, because we're living in a world which is contaminated with toxins. The water that we're drinking from these plastic bottles have leached BPA in it already, which is very toxic for the human body. The air that we're breathing, Dubai has its share of pollution and carcinogens in the air as well. The fruits, vegetables, everything. Now, we can't get so specific about, because what are you going to eat next and what are you going to drink next? So we can't, we accept. And even if we get our own farm and keep our own cow and our animals and we do all of that, you can't change the way you breathe air. It's the same. So the whole idea is, how can you build your immunity so strong and keep your body so clean? Your liver, kidney, lungs, skin, and bowel. These are your 5 eliminatory organs. If they are functioning the right way, that is your body's natural detox mechanism. If even one of them is blocked, you start accumulating toxins. And it doesn't matter if you're vegetarian or non-vegetarian then. So people who are non-vegetarian, okay, and decide to give it up thinking they're going to be healthier, maybe if your meat is contaminated. Okay, but the whole idea is look at the bigger picture of immunity.